Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Let's go to the next section here, which is creation of automation runbooks. Now, this is a very important resource from perspective of running set of scripts on your environment or even outside Azure. Right? Let me first discuss about the context of this. Why and where runbooks can make sense. Whenever you are creating any complex environment, what we are looking over here is creating this. We have seen till now what is ARM templates working with ARM templates. Right. We can run these. We can have lot of contents inside each of these templates. Right. Now the question is, how are you going to execute them? Like I showed you on the CLI or the PowerShell, you can execute it. But are you going to do these things manually? Couldn't it be done on a response of certain action or activity? The number of machines that we have created is going down. Or there is some problem over there. Right. To resolve that issue, I want to run a particular script which will help me create newer machines, which will help me to diagnose those systems. See what is going wrong over there. I'm not saying in the initial phases, but as we keep understanding these environments, why a system could go down. I have already devised some of the mechanisms to take care of that. In those scenarios, I can make use of an automation script. Another important number over here, if you see, is whenever you are creating a DR solution, disaster recovery solution, or Azure Site Recovery for that matter, or I will take any kind of backups. Every week I will take a backup, or every key days. I will take a backup depending upon the organization policies or the compliance policy requirements. Based on that, I have to run set of code. Right. I would have done some of the actual perform actions and activities in the background. Right. Once that process is being said, it will automatically repeat itself on certain schedules. Those things I can execute using an automation runbook. Does these scenarios make sense for you? Does these scenarios make sense for you? Let's proceed further and look at the options available here. If you look at the runbook, whenever you want to automate any of these processes or automate any other tasks over here, these will be the steps which are involved. If you see the first member here, that is based on certain event, I want a schedule. Like I said, I want to start a runbook. Now what this will do is, now when I say runbook, each runbook basically will have only one partial script or a partial workflow. Now using this partial workflow, What we are going to do is, we are going to create a job over here, right? And this job will be assigned in a queue. Please be careful. As far as these jobs are concerned, we are not looking at. We may not be looking at immediate execution of them. But we are not looking at this is happening at the background. It might take some time. Say, for example, if you want to create your machine, when the system has reached 85%, you should start from 7% itself. Keep a track of saying that 70% create a new machine. It might take some time to execute that script. Create the new environment and get the new resource ready for you. Because this is following a queue mechanism. There could be other tasks in the queue as well. Once you have queued it, you will be assigning it to a worker behind the scene, right? This is taken care by the automation engine itself. Behind the scene, it will start execution process and you can see that this resource is executing. Depending upon the resource dependencies that it has, it will check for other dependencies, check for other resources are required, and it will be paused till that resource is ready or the resource is accessible. Now, once that resource is accessible, it will be able to execute itself, complete either with errors or issues which we can resolve, or it will complete successfully. Now, all these things is happening outside the environment. Now, while I have been working with these resources or explaining these things to customers, especially administrators say that, what's a big deal? I can already have my Windows environment or Linux environment where I can create this automation, services or create these resources within the systems that I had, right? The subsequent questions that I posted with them is, what if that machine itself goes down? You have scheduled a backup, say 12 o'clock midnight or 2 o'clock midnight, based on whatever time zone you are from. When the schedule was supposed to execute, the server itself has gone down. How would you know that backup up has happened or not? You go to the log files. Find out that schedule has executed or not. If it is not executed, now, then you reschedule for another date. When you reschedule for another date, at that time, the amount of resources required was not taken care by that single machine. Right? Whatever it could do. Right? Within that resource or within that storage. It managed, beyond that, it failed. You have some of the partial data being written on the secondary environment. Because there is no scalability there. You can't increase that physical server. Because these things are running in the background. These things are running on external resources. If you see, third scenario, if you look at a DRAS scenario, where you are supposed to initiate second machine on failure of the first environment. Am I correct? I was supposed to execute or initiate a script on the secondary environment on failure of the primary environment. Where should you keep your scripts? On the primary environment or on the secondary environment? How does the secondary environment know that the primary environment has failed? Somebody has to trigger that, right? A triggering mechanism is on one of the machines, and all that power there is a complete power failure. All the machines have gone down. How do you specify the secondary environment that there has been some problem here? The UPS has gone down, or whatever is the issue. How do you update the secondary environment that there has been an issue in primary environment? Maybe some. Sorry. Go ahead. You may be some kind of a heartbeat. Checking the primary environment. Can you repeat that once again? Sir. Checking the heartbeat. Heartbeat. The service which is checking the heartbeat. Where should that service be? In the primary environment or in the secondary environment? That's a secondary environment. But secondary environment is passive, right? It's not running right now. It's completely dead. What I'm trying to say is, oh, these kind of days is what I'm trying to say is some of these resources which is supposed to check the health of the system. What you said is absolutely correct. It cannot be in primary or secondary environment. It has to be somewhere outside, like a monitor service. Can you repeat that? Monitoring. That's one. You're absolutely correct with that. But this monitoring tool has to be somewhere. In the third location, not in the primary, neither in secondary. It has to be somewhere outside. That's what Azure is talking about. It says, these kind of health checks I can do by using something called as Azure Site Recovery. Yes. Or by using something like PowerShell, Automation Runbooks, which will run on schedule. Check the heartbeat of the existing systems in the primary environment. If something has gone down, initiate the secondary environment. What scripts you want me to run? Just give me those scripts. You will have your secondary infrastructure ready. I will run that scripts on that secondary man. Are we getting it? That is what I will do. What you are supposed to do is initiate the secondary environment. Allow me permissions on that environment, and I will run the scripts over there. That's the core thing which I can help you achieve by using automation. If you look at the automation options, you can run this using Azure Sandbox. You can run this by using your hybrid runbook worker. Now this hybrid runbook worker should have some of the components installed on the secondary environment, which will allow this automation to run on the secondary environment, the secondary site that you have. Once you are clear about the significance of Azure Automation in terms of creating this resource, you already have a Runbooks gallery. And within Runbooks gallery, there are lot of pre-existing members over here. PowerShell workflow perspective. What are the options that we can perform over here? If you don't see that existing option, you can import a module from a module gallery. How you import a PowerShell module yourself? Same way, you can import a module over here. I will not be able to say only PowerShell because now Microsoft is supporting execution of Python scripts over here. Right? You can download the Python libraries relevant to the resource which you want to automate and work with it. Let's create automation resource. This is called as Azure Automation. The first one. Let's go ahead. Click on Create. What is the automation account name you want to create? Resource group name you want to use. Location. Create a run as Azure Run as account. As a best practice, each of these scripts should be executing as a service account. Automatically create a service account. If you look at under resource creation, machine creation, where all this is, all these scripts are running, are not charged for the underlying machines. What you are charged for is how many executions you are doing. If you want to look at the pricing model for this Azure Azure Automation, go to pricing section. Let's go to management section. Can you see this? Depending upon how much time is your resource running, based on that, you will be charged for it. Around Indian currency wise 14 pieces per minute. If you look at USD, they are 2 cents. $2. I don't know how much cents it to 2 cents, right? Or even not that as 2 cents. Is it done? I have my resource created. I'm not a single posy, like I'm a specialist. Toast, thank you. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.